But what eventually led me going to prison was the fact that I had so many bills and I had no way of paying them bills. And I just didn't want to sell drugs no more. So still being young and dumb, I said, well, you know what? Let me just rob the drug dealers.
Willie D. Live.
So I was fighting with that, still dealing with that. I was still like 22, 23 maybe. I'm not even sure how old I was. I ended up going back home and that happened. We and then this is when I meet, and I'm about to get the name. I meet Captain Shaheed, Captain Malik. I'm in the hood, and the mosque, the temple was on 43rd and Crenshaw, if I remember at the time. 43rd and Western, if I remember correctly. Because when I do these interviews, I always have certain things I am. My memory don't serve me correctly, but I remember it was on Western, and in the 40s, which is strongly the 40s now. We get over there, Captain Shaheed, and they bringing the Grape Streets in. And we kind of having spats with the Grape Streets at the skating ring and all over. So the homies mounted up. We ended up going over there and like having like a man-to-man off with the nation. And that's when I met Captain Malik, Captain Shaheed, um, um, rest in peace, Khaled.
Yeah,
And that's when I met Khaled,
Muhammad.
Khaled Muhammad. And we was at like, man, they can't be in our neighborhood. And they was like, nah, brother, we over here trying to service the community. And they spill, and I was still young, and I just started studying. So we ended up working out an equal medium. And after that, they made it their point. Captain Malik made it a point that he had to come find me. And I think about a week later, they was in the hood talking about they looking for Big U. Where's Big U? And I kind of embraced it, went over there, started going to 27. We had study hall 27, and it was Temple 27 too, but he had study hall 27 was in the 20s, and we was go over there and train. So that was kind of me, moving in. And then another major influence for me at that time was a Suju Muhammad, Steve Muhammad, who was my instructor from BKF. So he was a major influence for me, really kind of moving in that. And I was given the name Hannibal Muhammad. But what eventually led me going to prison was the fact that I had so many bills and I had no way of paying them bills. And I just didn't want to sell drugs no more. So still being young and dumb, I said, well, you know what? Let me just rob the drug dealers. And so that's what I ended up doing. That's how I ended up, even after I started studying Islam, end up going to prison and doing the 13 years.
So how you get in a jam robbing the dope dealers?
Well, it was a setup. It was a play. We was set up. One of the brothers who rest in peace had, I guess, it was in a pinch, and he set us up, set the play up. We ended up. It was undercover police officers, so they said it was a drug buy, but it really was never a drug buy. It was a robbery from our point of view from day one. It was never a drug buy. We showed them the money, spin off with the money, and they come back to do the robbery. That's pretty much how we did it for years.
Man, how much of the drug and gang culture in L.A. are L.A. law enforcement responsible for?
How much of it? Well, really, to be probably, I would say, a good 70 to 80% of it. In all kind of ways. It's like it's more than one way that you can view it, and that's the reason why the number is so high, because you can't sell it unless they authorize you to sell it. And then you at one time in that period, there was crews of sheriffs who was robbing all the drug dealers, and we see that right now. What the evidence is right now is what we see on the internet, where these guys are able to go with impunity, commit crimes, put it on the internet, and they don't get charged, they don't get in trouble. And what we see is happening it's actually the same way because how do they control our neighborhoods now? They control our neighborhoods because they control these phones and they control the information that's going into our neighborhood because it's now being dispensed through the internet and to the phones. So it's the same drug. Now how they getting money? You got all these kids is thinking is seeing they can get 3, 4 thousand, being as ignorant as they can be on the internet, and you get likes and follows, and you can make $2, $3,000 a month in doing that. Well, liken that to how drugs was coming into LA.